Welcome to the deep dive.
Hey there.
We've got quite the stack of sources today, all focused on the absolute whirlwind in artificial intelligence lately.
It really is nonstop, isn't it? Seems like every day there's something new, something shifting.
Our mission, as always, is to dig into these developments, pull out what really matters, and, figure out what it all means for you.
From the big tech companies making strategic plays to AI popping up in places you wouldn't expect, it's moving fast.
Okay, let's dive in. First up, the big players, the tech giants. Seems like some major strategic moves are happening right at the foundation level. What's jumping out?
I think maybe the most surprising one is OpenAI. They're apparently partnering with Google Cloud for some of their operations.
Wait, really? Google Cloud? But aren't they deeply tied in with Microsoft Azure? That feels significant.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the key insight, I think. They're still very much working with Microsoft. That relationship is huge. But this looks like a deliberate move to, spread the load.
Avoid having all their eggs in one basket.
Yes. Exactly. Build some resilience, maybe tap into specific things Google Cloud offers. It really highlights the fierce competition in the cloud space.
Right. Hosting these massive AI models is the big prize.
For sure. And it shows that even these really tight partnerships aren't totally exclusive when you're talking about this scale, this much money, and, future dominance.
Less a technical tweak, more a strategic chess move.
Got it. Speaking of giants making moves, Apple's WWDC just happened. AI was obviously front and center. What did the sources say about their play?
Right. They rolled out Apple Intelligence. That's the big branding for their AI push. And a key piece is a partnership with OpenAI.
So ChatGPT is coming to iPhones and Macs.
Essentially, yeah. Integrated into the system, plus tools for developers in Xcode so they can start building AI features into apps more easily.
And weren't there a lot of on-device features promised? Things that run locally for speed and privacy?
Spot on. Things like Genmoji. You describe an emoji and it creates it.
And better visual search, live translation baked into apps. A big emphasis on privacy by keeping processing on the device where possible. They also hinted at a big software redesign coming with iOS 26.
That sounds like a pretty big leap, especially since people felt Apple was maybe, lagging a bit in consumer AI.
Yeah.
Was the reaction all positive, though?
The sources suggest it was a bit mixed. Apple's stock actually dipped a little after the announcements.
Oh, interesting.
And maybe the most telling thing, Apple apparently admitted Siri is still, behind the competition.
Wow. Admitting that publicly, that says a lot.
It really does. It just shows the intense pressure they're under. Even with all these updates, they know they're playing catch-up in some ways.
That's a huge challenge, right? Trying to weave this AI tech, which others have been building for years, into an ecosystem built on a different foundation. How fast can they really move?
Exactly. Their strength is that integration, the user experience. But the core AI itself, that's a different kind of muscle, and they're doing it while Google is also pushing hard.
Right, Google definitely wasn't quiet. What was their big consumer news from these sources?
Google's focus seemed to be on bringing more AI power to Google Photos, which, let's face it, tons of people use.
What kind of power?
Advanced editing features, like you can edit parts of a photo just by typing what you want changed. And intelligent framing suggestion.
And that's rolling out too. Wasn't it a huge number?
1.5 billion users across iOS and Android.
Whoa, okay, so putting pretty sophisticated AI editing into basically everyone's pocket.
Pretty much, making things that used to need fancy software much more accessible. And for their more power user types, Gemini is getting something called scheduled actions.
Scheduled actions, like setting timers.
More like automated task management. The idea is AI proactively helping you manage things based on your schedule and habits rather than just reacting to your prompts.
Okay, that feels like a step towards AI being less of a chatbot and more of an actual assistant. Interesting. Any other big strategic plays noted?
Yeah, a few quick ones. Amazon's apparently pushing to be the go-to marketplace for businesses looking for AI tools.
It's like an app store for enterprise AI.
Kind of, yeah. IBM launched an open source thing, the MCP Gateway, to help developers mix and match different AI tools. Microsoft is focusing on AI for personalized learning, particularly mentioned in India. And SMAP is reportedly working on AI-powered AR glasses for 2026.
AR glasses with AI, like real-time translation you can see.
That seems to be the idea, yeah, bringing AI into that augmented reality view.
Okay, so the big players are digging in, competing, sometimes cooperating, but all pushing AI deeper. But it's not just staying in Silicon Valley, right? These sources show it spreading out.
Absolutely. And what's really striking is how specialized it's becoming for business tasks, like this startup called Zip. They just launched 50 different AI agents purely for procurement.
Procurement, you mean like handling purchase orders and contracts?
Exactly that. Reviewing contracts for compliance, assessing risk, stuff that takes a lot of human time. They think these agents could handle most of that within 5 years.
And OpenAI is using them.
Yeah, OpenAI is mentioned as an early customer, which is interesting, right? The AI builders using specialized AI to run their own business better, a real sign of AI boosting internal efficiency.
Efficiency seems to be a big theme.
Mhm.
Popped up in government use, too, according to this material.
Yeah, the UK government, they're using an AI tool called Extract.
Extract. What's it extracting?
It's digitizing old planning documents, like historical building permits and plans. The goal is to massively speed up approvals for new housing development.
Ah, trying to cut through the red tape to build more homes.
Precisely. They have a target of 1.5 million new homes by 2026, and they estimate this AI could save thousands of hours of manual work. It's AI tackling bureaucracy head on.
That makes a lot of sense. Super practical. But using AI in the public sector isn't always straightforward, is it?
Yeah.
There's a story here about New York City that sounds more complicated.
Yeah, this one raises some serious red flags. It's about transparency, accountability, really critical issues. NYC apparently used an AI tool described as secret to help identify families for child welfare investigations.
Whoa. Using AI to flag families as high risk?
Exactly. And the concerns are huge. How does the algorithm work? What biases might be baked in, especially racial bias? These are decisions that have massive impacts on people's lives.
So on one hand, the UK using AI to speed up paperwork, which seems positive. On the other, NYC using it for something incredibly sensitive, sparking worries about fairness and secrecy. That contrast is stark.
It really is. It shows the exact same underlying tech can be applied in ways with vastly different implications. Automating document scanning versus influencing decisions about taking kids away from families. The stakes and the need for oversight are worlds apart.
Absolutely. And speaking of high stakes, healthcare is another huge area where AI is booming. We've got several sources on that.
We do. And one study really stands out as a reality check.
Yeah.
It looked at how accurate medical advice is from different AI models, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, the big names.
What did it find?
Significant differences in accuracy, the bottom line. You absolutely cannot just ask an AI for medical advice and run with it.
So don't use it to self-diagnose based on a chatbot conversation.
Definitely not. The study hammered home the need for human validation. Any AI output in healthcare needs to be checked against clinical guidelines by actual human experts. It's a tool, a potentially powerful one, but not a replacement for doctors.
That's a crucial distinction. Okay, so caution is needed. But at the same time, new AI platforms are being built specifically for healthcare.
They are. Seoul National University Hospital, for instance, launched an LLM platform for precision medicine, helping doctors analyze complex data for personalized treatment plans.
Okay.
And in England, the NHS is working with a company called Beamtree on a platform using AI analytics to help hospitals manage resources, predict patient flow, basically run more efficiently.
So helping individual treatments and managing the whole hospital system. What about diagnostics? Any breakthroughs there?
There's a tool from Hong Kong scientists called MOME. It detects breast cancer from MRI scans. And the promising part is its accuracy reportedly matched human radiologists in trials.
Wow. So it could help speed up diagnosis, maybe catch things earlier?
That's the potential, yeah. Augmenting what radiologists do. And looking forward, there's apparently explosive growth predicted for AI tools that help surgeons plan complex operations.
Right. So diagnostics, planning, efficiency. AI is really getting embedded in healthcare,
Yeah.
but always with that caveat about human oversight. What about other industries? Advertising seems to be grappling with it.
Yeah, the ad world is definitely trying to figure AI out. They've launched what they're calling the first AI creativity benchmark.
A benchmark to score how creative an AI is.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
To measure the creative capabilities of different LLMs. The idea is to help marketers understand how to use AI for creative work, hopefully alongside humans, not just replacing them.
But that replacement fear is real, right? Especially in creative fields.
Oh, absolutely. You see platforms like Meta integrating AI ad tools directly, and it definitely causes anxiety about jobs and shakes up how traditional agencies work. It's a major disruption.
Makes sense. And finance. Are we seeing AI analyzing our spending yet?
We are. Starling Bank in the UK is mentioned as rolling out generative AI in its app. Customers can ask detailed questions about their spending and get personalized insights back.
So like chatting with an AI financial advisor.
A bit like that, yeah. Moving beyond just basic budget tracking. And on a much bigger scale, there's even talk about using quantum AI, like next-level computing for things like carbon credit markets. Platforms like Kilobit Intel Chain.
Quantum AI for carbon credits. Okay, that's pretty out there. Any other quick industry hits?
Let's see. Education, the UK is looking at AI for grading assistance, trying to reduce teacher workload, but that's sparking debate. Cybersecurity, Honeywell is using AI to protect industrial sites. And even fashion, an Aussie app called Nuono uses AI and body scans to design custom-fit clothes.
Custom clothes from an AI. It
Right.
really is touching everything. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. What about the AI tech itself? The models, the research, the human impact side of things.
One big trend is the growing momentum behind open-source LLMs. Models like Meta's Llama are getting a lot of traction.
Why open source? What's the appeal?
A lot of it comes down to privacy and control, especially for corporations. They're wary of sending sensitive internal data to third-party AI services run by the big tech giants.
Right, they want to keep it in-house.
Exactly. Open source lets them download a model, tweak it, run it on their own systems, more control, more privacy, ability to innovate internally. We also saw Xiaohongshu, a big Chinese social media company, release its own large open source model optimized for Chinese. So there's a national strategy element too, perhaps.
Interesting. Both corporate strategy and maybe national interests pushing open source. What about hardware? Any movement there?
There are reports China has started mass producing non-binary AI chips.
Non-binary chips, how do they work?
They use a different way of processing data compared to traditional binary zeros and ones systems. The goal is much greater efficiency, less energy use. Could be a big deal for making AI more sustainable.
Okay, efficiency on the hardware side. Now let's get into the capabilities. What can these things actually do? We seem to have some conflicting research findings here about whether AI truly understands anything.
Right, this is the core debate. Is it real understanding or just incredibly sophisticated pattern matching? Apple research pointed out something they call accuracy collapse.
Accuracy collapse.
Yeah, basically when advanced AI models are given complex reasoning tasks that require multiple steps, their accuracy plummets. Apple's take is that despite sounding fluent, these models might lack genuine reasonability. They hit a wall.
That sounds like a major limitation if they can't handle complex thought.
It definitely raises questions about whether just scaling up current models will get us to true general intelligence, but then you have this counterpoint research from
Tell me about-
scientists in China.
What did they find?
They suggest that large AI models are capable of developing abstract concepts about objects, similar to how humans do.
Like understanding the concept of a chair beyond just recognizing pictures of chairs.
Exactly. Abstracting the core properties. They see this as a sign that AI is moving towards genuine understanding, not just mimicking.
So one group sees a reasoning wall, another sees the beginnings of human-like concept formation. That's a fundamental disagreement right at the cutting edge. What are the impact on us humans, particularly at work?
There's research showing that, yes, AI boosts productivity in the workplace. That seems clear. But there's a worrying flip side.
Which is,
Increased employee isolation, apathy, loneliness.
oof, more efficient but more alone.
Yeah.
That's not great.
It's a serious trade-off. Experts are saying companies really need to think about how they implement AI, how to get the efficiency gains without losing the human connection, the social fabric of work that's important for well-being.
And it goes beyond work, right? Even our relationships with AI are becoming a thing. OpenAI is talking about users getting attached to chatbots.
Yeah, they've acknowledged people are forming emotional connections, maybe becoming reliant. So they're talking about needing safeguards, reminding users constantly that AI isn't conscious, it doesn't have real feelings.
That's a whole new ethical minefield, isn't it? As AI gets better at conversation.
It really is. How do we navigate these human-AI relationships? What boundaries do we need? It's forcing us to ask some deep questions.
Definitely. Okay, just a couple more points here on strategy and regulation.
Right. There's some scrutiny on how close big AI firms like OpenAI and Anthropic are getting to governments.
Concerns about lobbying, influencing the rules.
Yeah, exactly. Worries that corporate interests might be shaping AI regulation too heavily, potentially overlooking broader societal risks. Questions about transparency and who's really driving the agenda.
And Google DeepMind gave some specific advice to Taiwan.
They did. essentially advising Taiwan to focus its AI investments on applications using AI in industries where Taiwan is already strong, like manufacturing or semiconductors.
Rather than trying to build the next giant foundational model from scratch.
Exactly. The argument being they could make a bigger global impact by solving specific problems with AI, leveraging their existing strengths, instead of joining the incredibly expensive race to build the absolute biggest models.
That sounds like pragmatic advice for a lot of places,
Yeah.
actually. Focus on application. And let's end this section on a positive human note.
Yeah, nice example. Students in Southlake, Texas, they actually launched an AI-powered app specifically designed to provide mental health resources and support for teenagers.
That's fantastic. Kids building AI to help other kids.
Shows the potential for positive impact, and that innovation can come from anywhere, applying the tech for good.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, wow. The sources cover so much ground. We've seen these huge foundational shifts. OpenAI diversifying, new chip types, Apple going all in on Apple Intelligence, Google putting AI editing in billions of hands.
And then AI spreading everywhere. Automating business processes like procurement, streamlining government work, though not without serious ethical questions, as we saw with NYC, transforming healthcare across the board, shaking up advertising and finance, even popping up in custom clothing and student-built apps.
And underneath it all, this fundamental research pushing the boundaries, questioning if AI truly gets it, while other studies show its very real, sometimes isolating impact on how we work and connect.
The speed is just relentless. And it's all interconnected, weaving into the fabric of technology and increasingly our lives.
Look, it means it impacts you directly. The tools you use, your privacy, your job, how society functions.
Definitely. So the final thought to leave you with. As AI gets deeper into everything, automating, diagnosing, advising, even shaping our feelings and relationships, what core human things, like understanding, interaction, maybe even empathy, do we need to consciously think about, protect, or maybe even redefine in this new era?
Something really important to chew on. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.